Thai lawmakers have rejected an attempt to amend the constitution. The proposed changes, dubbed the People's Constitution, are the latest efforts by civil society groups to give more power to elected officials. But, as Saksit Sayasombat explains, that's easier said than done.
It was almost a foregone conclusion that the so-called People's Draft would be rejected in the joint sitting between the lower house parliament and the upper Senate. But it yet again shows the great difficulty of amending, let alone reforming, Thailand's 2017 constitution. The draft was introduced by a progressive reformist civic group aiming to roll back the political legacy of the 2014 coup and the military government. In essence, it wants to give more control back to elected politicians via oversight committees and also abolishing the upper house Senate. But herein lies the crux. The Senate is entirely handpicked by the previous military government, supposedly to keep the elected politicians in check, and naturally they are against any proposals that would see them done away with. And that's why in the end this draft was rejected. It doesn't matter if a majority of the elected MPs were against it during the vote. Even if a majority of MPs were in favor of it, if more than 2/3 of appointed senators are against it, it's game over for any constitutional amendments whatsoever. And that was the case again on Wednesday. This is the second time such a People's Draft was rejected by the lawmakers, so it's no surprise that Parit Wacharasin, one of the co-initiators of the draft, was disappointed with the vote.
นี่แหละครับคือการแก้ไขรัฐธรรมนูญที่พลเอกประยุทธ์ประกาศไว้ว่าเป็นนโยบายเร่งด่วนนี่แหละครับคือเนื้อหาสาระสำคัญของการแก้รัฐธรรมนูญที่พรรคร่วมรัฐบาลหลายพรรคนั้นกล่าวไว้ตอนเข้าร่วมรัฐบาลกับพรรคพลังประชารัฐว่าเป็นเงื่อนไขในการจะเข้ามาร่วมบริหารประเทศกันแล้วก็จะมาแก้รัฐธรรมนูญผมก็หวังว่าคงจะไม่ใช่นะครับเพราะว่าการแก้ไขรัฐธรรมนูญใดก็ตามที่ไม่แตะเรื่องวุฒิสภาไม่แตะเรื่องกลไกสืบทอดอำนาจมันก็ไม่สามารถแก้ไขปัญหาวิกฤตทางการเมืองและปัจจุบันได้จริง
As mentioned before, it is incredibly difficult to make any amendments to the 2017 constitution. Some critics say that is by design and the senators are part of it. The only amendment that has been accepted so far, it tackles election rules but doesn't tackle anything more fundamental than that. This comes amidst rumors of possible snap elections sometime next year, where the government of Prayut Chan-o-cha hopes to remain in power despite a struggling economy battered by the pandemic. One argument that often came up during this week's debate by opponents of constitutional reform is the fear of a so-called parliamentary dictatorship. But the Senate, as part of the legislative, is currently posing as the biggest obstacle in getting anything changed in Thailand's 2017 constitution. Saksit Sayasombat, CNA Bangkok.